All right, we're gonna do aerial evacuation from chairlifts via cable riding. And why do we need to do this? Well, if we have to evacuate multiple chairs in succession and the conditions are such that we can't just do a basic ground-based lower, like a standard, that's gonna be our go-to. But there are some spans, if it's really windy, that are really high, maybe the guests can't hear what we're trying to tell them as far as following instructions. Or maybe some of the spans go over like terrain that's really rocky and really steep, and it's really difficult for any ground-based rescuers to maneuver on the ground. So this is a viable option. It's not our go-to, but it's in the toolbox. It really takes two people and maybe a third to receive the guests, but to do the actual work is two people. You need the person who's going to be operating the control line, so the control line operator, and then the rider, the rescuer, who's going to be doing the evac. We're going to be climbing towers. Not all lift towers are the same. I'm doing this one on one that has a platform that you can actually work on. There are lifts that are really old that don't have a platform, and that's a whole nother can of worms as to how we would have to do that. Also, if you pan the camera up and look at the shiv wheels up here, there are no platforms, there are no catwalks that extend out along those shiv wheels. So this is kind of an older tower. It's probably as difficult as it's gonna get. So we're gonna try to do this as cleanly and efficiently as possible with just the right amount of gear, and we still want to abide by like everything that regulates our industry. Sometimes that can throw a wrench in things as far as speed, but we're going to try and strike the balance. There may be some cases where like we intentionally hang it out there, there's no way around it, but we'll address those as we go. Sam's going to climb the tower. He's going to need his ladder cable grab as he's climbing, and then agree on to protect himself when he's up top. He's going to start rigging that control line, and then I'll follow after him. Okay, so while Sam is climbing, he's bringing up the rope and the descent control device and everything he needs to anchor. I'm also going to take a rope. We're going to separate the functions of the evac rope line and the control rope line. So two separate rope lines. You can do one, but there are some nuances, some downsides to that. Let's go over what the cable rider is going to bring up. So the meat and potatoes of it is going to be what we're going to glide on, so the roll cab on a swivel, because I want everything going on the business end to be independent of any torque on the cable. We have an additional auxiliary fixed attachment point. So this is for to maintain 2 points of connection at all times as we bypass chairs. So this is just a permanent connection down into that rigging plate on the roll cab. So that's roll cab with a hook. That's a fixed grip. Further on down the line on the roll cab, I have an adjustable green lanyard. On the plate itself, this is where the control line attaches, and then the anchoring system for the evac itself is also going to attach here. I have a separate standalone green with a hook over that cable. This provides me with that second point of contact. They're both adjustable. We need a seat harness for our guests, so our guest seat harness. An ASAP when it's time for me to finish up. So I need a backup system for me to descend. This gives me options for egress options. So a line saver so that it can be a ground-based lower, kind of like they're rescuing me. In the event I need to do any kind of ascending maneuvers on my green lanyards, I want to carry an ascending assembly. So the cow's tail, the foot loop, etria, aider, the actual handle ascender itself. So all those components are going to be all over me as I go up. Sam's rigged up our anchor. This is the control line. The terminal end, I'm going to put the line saver on it in advance. This gives me options later on down the line when it's time for me to egress. The transitioning piece on this is a little bit difficult. We're going to make the control line kind of as a protection line. And then I rig this up into what's going to be the roll cab assembly. And as I go down on this roll cab, it doesn't matter which way I put this on, right there, and chuck that up. If you look down here, that's like an arm span that I have to clear through the shiv train before I can actually get set to go. So what I'm gonna do is give myself an arm span of slack through here, and then I'm gonna hook directly into me. And then I'll take that out later. This is just to protect me initially. So here I go, let's bump this out just a little and go full arm span. About right there. And I'll just give myself a butterfly knot. I'm going to hook it in my pelvic ring just for maneuverability. hook myself in. Okay. So we're set there. Now it's time to make this transition as pretty as possible. So fingers crossed. Very tight quarters, very tight working space, and very awkward maneuvering to get on here. Okay, so I've got my standalone grillon already set on the cable. There's slack in it, it's on a fall arrest point. This is what's gonna like hold me right here on the ID. So we test it, make sure that I am taut on this. And I don't even have to connect any of this yet. I'm just gonna let that dangle. Okay. Okay, down just a couple inches. A little more. Perfect. Okay, stop. Bring this up. And over. And right now it's all about line management. Just to get ourselves set so nothing is twisted. Now nothing is twisted. Okay, ready to go down.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Down just a little bit.
Yep. Okay, stop.
R39 to Trevor. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm choked up as far as I can go here. Let's go down on red.
Down on red.
Okay, stop. So you gotta be careful not to mess with the brittle bar here. We don't want to break things. Okay, that's one. The roll cab always goes first, followed by the dead hook to ensure 2 points of contact at all times. Right there. Hand me that bag. Got it. Let's go down on red.
Down on red.
Okay, stop. Okay, down on red. Stop. Okay. Down on red. Okay, stop. Detention red.
Okay.
So give me some slack on red. A little more. Okay, good. Okay. Now we're gonna get rid of the butterfly. We're gonna get rid of this carabiner. We don't need that. So take on red, and then when you come up, get rid of that butterfly. Okay, full take. All the way up. There we go.
Okay.
So I'm full weighted on the standalone grillon. I'm going to go down on the standalone grillon so I can weight the roll cab. Okay. That's as hard as it's ever going to get. Most of our lifts have catwalks where we can just hook directly up right there. So, yeah, ready for down?
Ready for down.
Couple more feet, then we're at the duckbill. So we reached our first chair. No one's in this chair. We're going to bypass it. And if we look at our connections, let's just talk about why we have the connections the way we do up here. This stays on and it's hooked in to me when I take that first roll cab connection off. When I do that, I will maintain 2 points of contact, independent, whole, through and through. Without this, I would only be on one and less safe, unprotected, and we're trying to abide by regulations and standards, so that's why that's there. My standalone Grion is on the trail end. It's loose, but not too loose. There's just a little bit of slack in it because I don't want friction to bind up the control line operator's job of lowering me down on the roll cab. So really, the only thing weighted is going to be that roll cab until I get to this point, and now I can start to transition. Both Grions are to my pelvic ring for adjustability. That's perfectly fine. I don't need anything to my sternal ring. There's no fall or rest shock absorber system in here, and I don't need that as long as both these connections have minimal slack. And that standalone Grion is just like inches of slack, just so that it doesn't bind up and impede movement on that roll cab. So let's pass this chair, stand up on it. Make sure I have good footing. Okay, Sam, give me about 4 feet of slack. So he's gonna give me some slack so I can disconnect, swing this out, reconnect down here. So I maintained 2, now I'm back on 3. I can take the standalone one off, reconnect sequentially. Now I'm back on 3. And then the last one, before I take that off, I'm going to choke up a little bit on the Grion that's on the roll cab. Make sure that that is as high as it'll go. Minimize any slack through this whole ordeal. And you can argue that I may not be on like 2 points of contact the second I take the standalone Grion off here, because when I do that, there's still 2 points here, the roll cab and the fixed hook. But on my harness, there's just that one Grion. This is out of play. So yeah, I've maintained 2 points on the cable, but only 1 on my harness. We just have to be cognizant and aware of that and mindful. So I think excess amount of gear is overkill. Like, we just want to quickly get that hook off, put it right back, and now I'm on 2 points through and through. And I'm just going to continue on. Okay. Go ahead. Okay, take on red. Okay, good. And now I reweight the system by easing down into it. Okay, ready to go again. Down on red. Off we go. Hey, what's your name?
Pete.
Pete?
Yeah.
All right, Pete. I want you to slide in the center of the chair. I don't want you on the outside. Okay, cool. Just sit tight. I'm going to come and pick you off, lower you down, okay?
Okay,
all right,
thank
so
you.
back up here. So, Sam, we have our control line's not doing much of anything at all. It's just kind of here. For more or less, I'm locked off on the duckbill. There could be a bump where it would slide, but if it does that, it's just going to hit the clamp on the chairlift bar. Okay, so I have 2 Grions. I'm going to alternate lowering myself sequentially. I just want to make sure that I don't give too much slack at any one point in time, where if one thing should fail, I shock load the system. So when I alternate, it's really just, I'm trying to keep the slack at any point to about a foot or less. Try not to get my foot in your face. As we come down, I give myself a little bit of slack here, and then I alternate. Okay, coming in. Okay, let's see if I'm in a good spot for you. All right, so I want to be standing kind of straight up with my feet between my patient, or my guest actually. All right, so this is my anchor sling, anchor strap. I want to make sure this is going to be in a good height. Go ahead and just hold on to that for me. Don't drop that. All right, so first things first, let's get our descent control device hooked in. Right in there. And I'm going to suspend the bag a little bit lower on that side, so this is a placeholder for the bag. At the end, calm winds, I can probably just hook this line directly to the guest harness, but assuming that winds are kind of tough, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to extend this line all the way down. This is going to be a tag line for the ground team, and then I'll just tie a butterfly knot. So we'll dual purpose out this line. So it reaches the ground, they got control of it, and then I just do a butterfly right here. Okay, let's clip this. I'll take this in here. Okay, so we've got that. So this is the loaded line. I'm going to hook this up into the ID first. That's good there. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm going to give a little bit of slack on that harness. That stays right there. And then standard high friction mode to start off with is there. As I lower, I want this rope to feed in that high friction mode through the horns, which is why I want the bag to just hang right here. Okay, so I'll take this. This is just gonna hang right here so that it's a nice feed. Good, good. And I can put this on him. If you can follow commands, I'd rather have him do it so that I don't have to like descend on my 3 ounce and then have to come back up. And again, we want those things to be as high and tight up into your crotch, as close to your groin as possible, because that's really what's going to keep you comfortable. So we're going to take all the slack out now that we've got you in your harness. So you're taut right there into our system, locked off. I go high friction mode on the evac line. Since this is a training environment, we need a backup line and an ASAP for our guests. We're going to piggyback off of yours, Sam. Yeah, right below it, right here. So in real life, there aren't going to be other lines here. There's not going to be ASAPs. There's no backup. In real life, backups are just for me, the rescuer, not our guest. We'll have you push yourself out and fully weight this system. So yes, this is like the leap of faith. And as you do that, I'm going to snug you up a little bit more. There you go. We want you full suspended out of that seat. Yep. There you go. Cool. Feel good? Nice and easy. Mitigate any swing. Turn that my way so I can see it. There we go.
Welcome back to ground zero, Pete.
Let me know he's on the ground.
5 feet.
5 feet.
1 foot.
1 foot.
We have touchdown.
Okay, on the ground. You need slack. Slack. Now that this chair's been evac'd, I can continue on, or like we can stop and my job's done. So there are a couple different ways to egress the rescuer off the cables. One is to just keep going all the way to the next tower. Maybe if we needed a cable ride beyond for the next span, that's an option. But the downside to that is I'd have to like have another person on that tower to receive me. I've got everything I need to just toss up a bight of rope and I can do a 2-rope system and ascend up to that tower. Or I can set 2 static lines on the haul cable and do everything myself, like rappel with an ASAP. But today I'm going to elect to do only 1 static block line and hook myself on independent self-belay on the ASAP. That's live rescue or training. That holds true. We need a backup. And that's the reason why I rigged that line saver up there. That red line that I was on, that was the control line, that's going to turn into the actual evac line for me. So I'm going to have to ascend back up, climb back up. I'm going to leave this kit hanging here for now. I just need to get myself back up into position first. And that's why I come equipped with my own pair of ascenders so that I can get myself back up. Otherwise, it's really, really difficult. So, cow's tail on. That's out. And I can use any one of these grille lanyards. It does not matter. Again, I just want to make sure that as I ascend, I limit any slack in any one of those grille lanyards to about 1 foot or less. So now I come back up. I'm using this one. Come up. I choke up on the other one. Come up, climb, choke up on the other one. And in general, I want to be as high as possible because I want to be able to reach the cables because I'm going to start to rig my anchors, basically. Okay, I don't need my ascenders anymore, so these are gone. Okay, Chauvin, I think I'm all done with the control line. We can basically just take that red line and just chuck it over the edge. It's going to turn into a, that's basically our TC evac line now. Okay.
Yeah, copy that problem. I'll take you out of the data device. And looks like it's kind of hung up in that hangar above you. We'll have to kind of feed it through there. So we should be good.
Yeah, I see that. I think we can whip it pretty easily.
Copy.
Now it's all about line management. All clear on guest line? Okay, so setting the static block or pull-through anchor system. I repurposed the evac line. This is the terminal in. I just threw it up and over and then made sure that the end reached the ground. And after I do that, I tie 2 butterflies really close together on the opposite side. And I put a quick link into the one loop into here. If I didn't have a quick link, I could do a carabiner with a pulley. But I don't want a big carabiner here because this is the block. A big carabiner, like the space doesn't guarantee that the knot won't slip through. So as you can see, when I start pulling, and I want to link it on the lower knot, not the upper butterfly, the lower one. As I pull the static side, this is where my ASAP's going to be connected to. This pops up and over and blocks right there. So this is static and fixed. And when it's time to retrieve it, we just pull the opposite end and it goes. Okay, so we have our static line here. I'm going to hook up my ASAP so that I want to do it now so that I don't forget which line is what later. So backups always go to your sternal. Put you right in there. Okay. So one of 2 lines is set. Now I need to work on this red line. That was the control line. So I need to disconnect this line from the rigging plate up here, where it was hooked up to the control line. That's why I pre-rigged the T-seat end. So all I have to do is undo this and pop this out. Okay, this is gonna go to my central or pelvic ring, but I wanna get this up and over first. I assume that they're gonna be operating this red line from that side over there and not that side. So when I do this, I just pop this up from this side, up and over. And my line saver sets. And this comes down to my central point. And I lock that off. So I can start to clean this stuff up. I'm gonna introduce the slack into the roll cab assembly, and I'm just gonna derig everything roll cab. So this all comes out and this is gone. And I'll get this off of my central point so you can see it. It's a little cleaner. And I can get rid of this. Okay. And I'm just gonna hook this to my harness so it's out of the way. Off to the side. Cool. Okay, so 1 point primary, backup is here. What's gonna replace, I'm gonna do a line transfer off of the Grion onto my main lowering system. Take as hard as you can, okay? Get all the stretch out.
Of which there's a lot in these.
Yeah. A whole lot. Can you go one more, good? Yeah. Yeah, basically weight it really good. Okay, you guys good? Okay, I'm gonna transfer off of my Grion onto this system. Okay, so now I weight red. Okay, Grion is slack. I can get rid of that. I don't need it. Get rid of that off my pelvic ring. I can now store my Grion on my harness somewhere where it's out of the way. Okay, and I'm ready to be rescued. Okay, ready? That's all there is to it. Clear as mud.